Hello, and welcome back to Java Lessons and More. I'm your host, Evan Gonshore. Today we're going to be kind of picking up where we left off, but also introducing new stuff. So if we head over to our code here, um, uh, instead of, or rather in addition to importing the scanner, we're also going to import something called, so import space java .io star, and then we're gonna end our semicolons. Basically, that's like helping input output. In this case, we're gonna learn um, how to use input and outputs um, with files. And then our public static void main string args is all gonna stay the same. And we did talk about that in an earlier lesson. So feel free to go back and just watch like one of the first few, because I went over that like a few times. But we're going to add throws IO exception, throws space IO exception, and there's a space before throws. And what that's going to do is it's going to, um, if it encounters an issue, it'll let us know. Um, so it'll say like file not found or something like that. So it'll alert the user, which is always good to have. And then we're gonna make gonna get rid of these integers, and we're gonna say string line. Hopefully it'll let me call it line. Yeah. So that'll be the line of the text file that it grabs. And then we're gonna initiate the creation of two scanners. So this is kind of a new concept. So we're gonna have our usual scanny. We'll have one called scanny1 and another one called scanny2. Or we could do file reader and then line reader. So you just, in order to declare multiple, you just put a comma in between them, and good practice to do comma space. Make it a little easier to read. So it's a little bit of art that goes on with programming. And then we're gonna start with our file reader. So file reader, which is a scanner type. So this is where we set it up now on a new line, equals new scanner. So instead of doing that all in that initial declaration, since we declared multiple, we're just going to do it down a line, and then we're going to say new file, which is, it knows from the IO class and the scanner class. New file, new space, file with a capital F, and then what did I call my file? Hold on, give me a sec here. URL list .inp, and we put that in double quotes. Close the parenthesis because we had an open parenthesis after file. And we do one more close parenthesis to close out that scanner. See, we have the one. See, oh, it doesn't show you. For some coding software, so it'll show you. But we have these two parentheses here, which you can see over on the YouTube channel if you're listening. So we do that, and then we kind of implement our while loops. I keep saying wall. I don't know what that is. Um, while file reader, and here's a new thing, dot has lowercase, capital N, ext, or ext are all lowercase, then open parenthesis, close parenthesis. So it's while file reader dot has next. It means while that scanner sees something else to read in the file, it hasn't reached the end of the file. then our line, that string we made earlier, we're going to set equal to file reader dot next line. So first it'll be the first line, and then it'll go on to the second line. But it's going to take it one line at a time, kind of like you'd read a book one line at a time. And then we'll have it print out that line, system.out.println. We'll print out the line, and then you put a line in parentheses. And then semicolon, don't forget to end your lines with semicolon. And then we're going to create our next scanner, so line reader. Maybe I shouldn't have called it that, but I think you'll see in a sec, equals new scanner. Again, you can go back to where I introduced scanner to learn a little more, but that's going to be scanner, and then in the parentheses next to scanner, we're going to put line. So it's going to be a scanner of that line, and we're going to tell it line reader dot use, all lowercase, then a capital D, and then the rest is lowercase, delimiter. So it's going to be looking for something like a space, or in this case, in parentheses, and then also in quotations, we're going to use the slash, since that's what's used to separate URLs. And then we're going to say while open parenthesis line reader dot has next. So basically that we haven't reached the end of the line, doesn't see any more slashes. That's where the computer magic comes in. And we don't need to use curly braces here, since it'll just do the next line. We'll do system.out. Okay. System.out.print ln line reader dot next. So in this case, instead of next line, it's just going to print out that next URL segment separated by the slash. So I'd like to try to switch over and show you that file real quick if I can. It's a bit of an experiment, so give me a brief sec. I don't know if it's going to work. I hope it doesn't cut off the video, but at least you'll have the podcast if you need it. But so, oh, actually, I'll come back to it. Actually, let me run it and then I'll come back to it. Just so I don't lose you. Let's make sure it compiles. I imagine it should. Okay. Then we'll run it. So, actually, I don't even really need to show you the file, since it kind of printed it kind of nicely for us down here, but I think you can get a pretty good idea of what I put in the file. I just made up some websites. Hopefully this isn't a real copyrighted website, but www.yoursite.com, and then it just kind of, for this one, there's no slashes, but here, like you can see, I typed yoursite.com/blog, yoursite2.com/blog, so that's where you have your blog. It's just another website. It's just to demonstrate the concept. So it separates them out by this slash, which we call a delimiter. And I think I touched on that in another prior lecture, but it's just like a separation. So here it separates out those pieces, and then this is the final URL, yoursite3.com/home/contact. And then if you want to have like an email, again, just to illustrate the concept. And so it prints out yoursite3.com, home, contact, email. Yeah, and that's about it. It's just kind of demonstrating a couple different things. So you see the nested while loops. It's going through the file reader, reads in the lines, as long as it has one. And then while that line has slashes, it'll keep circling through this lower part here, just like with the if statement. You don't have to do the curly brackets, but you can, and I usually do. But in this course, trying to teach you everything. And then see if I can show you the file real quick, but just in case I cut out, thank you very much for watching and for listening. Hope you learned something. That's the main thing, and hopefully we'll have another lesson for you here soon. And definitely leave your thoughts and feedback. But let me see if I can just show you this file real quick. I don't know if the recording cut out or not, but let me see. Okay, so you can see kind of what the contents of that file basically is what I wanted to get at there. And so the file just contained this, but it printed out um, the entire URL and then each piece of it. So thank you again, and yeah, hope to continue to have you back here. Thank you again for subscribing. Appreciate it and for listening.